Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Ekpa in big trouble as Bianca pushes for Kanu's freedom. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. Joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you, BK.
Isn't it, Brian?
Right, great. I'm not sure whether you got the first question, but let me try to repeat the question. I was saying that before Simon Ekpa's arrest, his directives, including the sit-at-home orders and calls for violence, have reportedly worsened insecurity in Nigeria's southeast. So, how significant is his arrest in curbing these activities and restoring normalcy in the region?
It's a very significant development. It should have come before now, given that the authorities in Finland confirmed that the offense was committed in 2021 in Leti municipality. So if the offense was committed as far back as 2021, why is he just being arrested last Thursday? Yes, Simon Ekpa has dual citizenship of Finland and Nigeria, but it's not an excuse for someone to be inciting violence in another country. You live in a country where there is respect for rule of law, but you want to sit in that country and cause problems in your uh, ancestral land. It's unacceptable. And I think the Finnish authorities have done the right thing, given also that Nigeria had requested before now for its extradition. I remember that the Nigerian authorities actually even pleaded with European Union uh, visitation team in our country, urging it to help have Nnamdi Kanu extradited. So when you look at the fact that Nigeria had actually been concerned about the cold-blooded killing of innocent people uh, instigated by the self-styled Prime Minister uh, Simon Ekpa and his activities which have crippled the economy of the Southeast. The economy of the Southeast is so private sector driven. And when you instill fear in people, you tell them not to go to work, you kill those who go to work, then it makes sense to have you arrested so that you can explain why you are doing what you are doing. 8 months ago, Nigeria declared him wanted and appealed to the EU to assist in apprehending him. How do you fight for the freedom of your people and you are killing the same people? So I think having someone whose behavior uh, is can be likened to that of a psychotic terrorist in detention is a very good decision. And in my view, this will help us achieve our goal of restoring peace to the southeast of Nigeria. I'm not surprised that the IPOP came out to say we do not know him, he does not belong to our group. Why won't they do that? IPOP instituted sit at home as a form of civil disobedience in the first place. But Nnamdi Kanu was convinced by powerful traditional rulers from the southeast, led by Eze Chukwemekayeri of Enugu Aguleri Kingdom, Obugad. And he dropped the idea said sit at home no longer happen in any part of the Southeast. Remember, originally, IPOB said it will happen every Monday. Later on, I said it to occasions when Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court, you know. So after that, Simon Ekpa and his people refused to implement IPOB decision and continued to have sit at home. In fact, there was a time when he ordered the people to sit at home for about a week. And when they are celebrating the Biafra Day, he insists that nobody should go to work. How can an economy survive when people are forced to be unproductive, are forced to stay in their houses? Students cannot go to school on Mondays. For that reason, school work has been extended to Saturday, which normally should be a work-free day. So I think that this is a significant development, and unfortunately for uh, Simon Ekpa, the sort of offense for which he has been detained is not bailable that country. So until his matter, uh, until his trial begins in May 2025, he's going to be in detention. Although I must add that Finland has some of the most beautiful, most tastefully furnished prisons in the world. They are actually even better than some five-star or three-star hotels in terms of what's available. Prisons with golf courses, prisons where you have equipment uh, for barbecue and all that. So he's going to stay in detention till his trial begins.
Interesting. So, if you look at the defense headquarters in Nigeria, they've actually expressed hope that, hope for his extradition to face justice.
This is said is a significant development. Yes, for Nigeria
Right.
to, you know, for me, for me, the Finnish authorities can still proceed with his trial and commit him to jail if the offense he committed is against the laws of their land. They don't have to have him extradited. Because for him to be extradited in line with um, global convention, he has to go through an extradition trial, which can be time consuming. And given the way Nnamdi Kanu's rendition to Nigeria 2021 has been handled, bringing Simon Ekpa to Nigeria for trial for terrorism can even turn him uh, to a hero if we are not careful. The case will be politicized, ethnicized, and Simon Ekpa will eventually look like a hero in the eyes of some people. So if the Finnish authorities will help Nigeria lock him away, I'm confident that his activities that have led to the death of so many people will come to an end because the the means through which money gets funneled to people to commit large-scale murder, as his people have been doing, will run dry. And once it's out of the way, we can begin to talk about genuine opportunity for peace. And just as Bianca Ojukwu has said, once Nnamdi Kanu is released, those who have been committing crimes citing his name will no longer be able to do that. The people will now know who are genuine freedom fighters and who are barefaced criminals profiting from the uh, the heartaches of innocent people. So it depends on how the Finnish authorities want to handle his matter. They may not even send him to Nigeria. They may try him within the laws of their country because the offense was committed in their country. As you see, they cited the location where he committed the offense. They cited the fact that he committed it in 2021. So if you committed an offense, right, it is well within their rights to put you on trial within his addition may perhaps not be on the trial and um, give him justice within the ambit of the Finnish laws.
Interesting. So, but then if you look at Simon Ekpa, he's a Finnish citizen. So I'm wondering how the extradition might be possible because being a Finnish citizen, we know the European continent, they always want to protect their citizens, regardless of whatever they do. They would rather prefer that such person is tried on their soil. Do you not feel that this might pose a challenge for the extradition of Simon Ekpa? Very quickly.
Yes, I see a big challenge about this extradition. Don't forget, some of these European countries believe that we are a nation where the rights of the people get trampled upon. So, being a Finnish citizen, they may not be convinced that we will be able to do justice to his case and that he will get fair hearing. The way Nnamdi Kanu's matter has been handled, the way he was forcefully brought to Nigeria from Kenya to be tried was not tidy. Was not tidy at all, and it went against established conventions and international law. So that may work against Nigeria in its desire to have Simon Ekpa extradited. But as I said earlier, they don't have to extradite him. They can put him on trial in that country and have him jailed in that country. James Ibori was not extradited to Nigeria, despite the fact that the monies he stole belonged to Nigeria, but he was tried in the UK and was jailed along with his wife, along with his lawyer, along with some of his friends, the close aides. So they don't have to send him down to Nigeria. They don't have to extradite him for justice to be done. The offense for which he has been arrested was committed in their country, in Finland, in 2021, in the Leti municipality. So they have every right within the international law to put him on trial in their country without having to extradite him here. As a citizen of their country, it will be difficult, you know. So they would rather try him within their own laws, um, give him their own version of justice. So I am inclined to think that this is what will happen along the way. I'm not excited about the possibility of extradition because it can be very tortuous, it can be political in nature. An extradition trial is never easy.
Right. So you mentioned Bianca Ojukwu and plan to, intercede on his behalf, with the president so that the president might release
No,
Nnamdi Kanu. You foresee the release of Nnamdi Kanu by the Tinubu administration. And if that happens, would that address the issue of insecurity that we face currently in the Southeast due to the killings and the maiming of their own people? Because Simon Ekpa had already said Nnamdi Kanu cannot stop him from what he's doing, except he comes to meet him in Finland and have a conversation, face-to-face conversation with him for the quagmire or for the impasse to be resolved.
I wasn't surprised that he took that position because he knew that if he decided to give up um, his agitation, some of the funds coming into his pocket will no longer come in. And Kanu demanding that there should be no sit at home and all that was not what he wanted. He wanted to be his own man. He wanted to carve a niche for himself. And to that extent, he was not prepared to listen to Nnamdi Kanu. So I wasn't surprised that he chose to go his own way, chose to do things his own way. He chose to disregard Nnamdi Kanu. You will recall that on one of our programs, on one of our episodes of this program, Simon Ekpa and his supporters uh, attacked me because I said, because I pushed for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Argument was
That's
that the release of Nnamdi Kanu will help us achieve peace.
that's right.
So, as far he now saw himself as the issue, as the chief agitator for Biafra, and he would not even want Nnamdi Kanu mentioned in the same sentence as Nnamdi Kanu's name mentioned in the same sentence as his own name. So he was clearly trying to assume the status of the number one agitator. So to that extent, he could not be bothered about Nnamdi Kanu at all. So, but I align with the belief that a lot of these fighters had always said that, look, we're agitating for Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu went into detention because he was fighting for us. Now, it will be a psychological blow to the people attacking innocent people in the South. Now the Kanu gets released. As for whether Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu could release him, no one can say at this stage. But I remember that during his campaigns, he said he was prepared to listen to agitators in the Southeast. I remember clearly that he said that. And when a man makes a promise, you expect that he will fulfill that promise. If the condition is suitable for Nnamdi Kanu's release, I am convinced that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be ready to do that. Remember that the Nnamdi Kanu of today is not the Nnamdi Kanu that was very active before 2021. I think detention has sobered him up. Remember that interview that I granted inside the courtroom? You wouldn't believe that it was Nnamdi Kanu talking because he was speaking like a man of peace. You know, we never knew that side of him until that interview. He was speaking like a man of peace, and he said, "If you release me, all of these people making killing people in the southeast, they cannot look into my eyes. I'm going to stop the killings with immediate effect." Just the same way that Donald Trump said that if he becomes president, the Russia-Ukraine war will end in one day. You know, so I really cannot say the president needs to be thoroughly convinced. And despite all of what Nnamdi Kanu had done against him, the same president who can bring into his fold people like Daniel Bualia, despite some of the nasty things that they said against him, I believe that he can easily forgive um, uh, Nnamdi Kanu's violent and terrible rhetorics that he had used against the president. If the president is convinced that Nnamdi Kanu's release will further enhance the achievement of peace in the Southeast region, I'm confident that he will do it. So, and Bianca Ojukwu, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, has already indicated that she will do whatever it takes. Let me read what she said. I will do whatever it takes to ensure His Excellency Tinubu grants this request. The release of Nnamdi Kanu is paramount to separating genuine freedom fighters from criminals causing mayhem in the Southeast. Our people face existential threats, and we must act to restore peace. So this is what Bianca Ojuku said, as who had been saying that there's a need to to help to release Nnamdi Kanu so that we can take a bold step towards achieving peace in the Southeast. So, and
Right.
it's up to the president to look at those the options on the table. But as I've always said, Ibrahim, releasing someone like Nnamdi Kanu must come with conditions. Anybody who thinks that Nigeria will release Nnamdi Kanu without preconditions must be the biggest joker on the planet. There has to be conditions. And if he, from what I hear, is prepared to, in fact, he even said at one point that he was prepared to be under house arrest so long as he comes out of the detention facility of the DSS. You know, so he is prepared to abide by some conditions. It's up to the government to either believe him or not believe him. Perhaps he's saying all of this because he's already tired of being in captivity. No one can say. But if he would abide by conditions, if he would sign conditions, so I'm happy. I'm convinced that the president would be willing to look at that matter.
That's right. Let me quickly take one or two comments before we come to wrap. Taiwo Oyedele says Simon Ekpa's recent arrest in Finland has been linked to allegations of incitement to commit crimes with terrorist intent. I hope Finland does justice to this matter. Um, Kenneth Kenneth Ekwe says this isn't the first time Simon Ekpa has been at the center of controversy. He has previously been implicated in election boycotts and fundraising fraud. Okay. Um, Nelson says okay, this is not Nelson. Uh, Thompson Aduke says the defense headquarters in Nigeria is looking forward to bringing Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. I hope Finland listens to them because they don't trust Nigeria. Well, BKO also says something like that, but we hope that things are done right. Okay, the Finnish government has stated that Ekpa's case is now before it, so we hope that they will do it, they will do the right thing so that they don't protect Ekpa from justice. I mean, from facing justice. Okay, before we go, Biko, if extradition is successful, let's just say that extradition is successful. What kind of trial or proceedings can we expect in Nigeria, and what does the government aim to achieve beyond, justice for alleged crimes, especially when you look at um, balancing national security and rights? Because looking at while national security is paramount, how do you think the government should navigate the line between addressing terrorism and safeguarding the rights of individuals in the diaspora communities?
So I don't. Nobody has the right to order people to go and kill innocent people. Nobody has that right. You can't sit in Finland with members of your family enjoying life over there with slush funds provided by sponsors of Biafra agitation, and then be inciting people to violence in your own country. You do not have that right. You are taking away the rights of other people to free movement. You are taking away the right of people to legitimately earn a living and fend for their families. You've not got that right. So I think by and large, because of the whimsical nature of our judicial process, many people have lost confidence in our courts, and I won't be surprised if the Finnish authorities are not looking in the direction of an extradition trial. They will need a lot of convincing to agree to an extradition trial. And from the facts on the table, Simon Ekpa's arrest was not instigated by a desire to put him on to institute an extradition trial. No, he's going to be tried for his criminal activities. He's going to be tried for um, terrorism-related offenses, which they can try in their country and secure his conviction. So something tells me that extradition is not on the cards. But at the same time, because Nigerians were worried about his excesses, about his activities, locking him away may be Finland's way of helping us to achieve stability in the southeast region. Because once they put him on trial for the offenses he has committed, if found guilty, is sent to jail. I'm sure they are convinced that the rate of insecurity in that part of Nigeria would go down. And in doing that, they will be doing Nigeria a massive favor. And they can do us a massive favor without necessarily sending him, putting arms based on their own laws is still good enough, in my view. After all, if James Ibori had been sent to Nigeria, he would not have gone to jail. Remember, the offenses for which James Ibori eventually got jailed in the UK, he was freed here in Nigeria. Judges here in Nigeria declared that James Ibori had no case. So, whereas, based on some of the evidence that the FCC had provided, he went to jail in another country after being acquitted in our country. So I'm not excited about an extradition trial. Let them try him for terrorism in their country, and if the offenses he has committed warrant him being sent to jail, so be it. So
That's right.
I'm focused on that. I'm not even thinking of an extradition trial at all.
All
Because
right.
it can be, you can look at Buruji's case. He never got extradited until he died during COVID. But the Americans badly wanted him extradited to face uh, drug-related charges, but it didn't happen. So
That's right.
the little faith that these countries have in our judiciary can get in the way of smooth release of Simon Ekpa for uh, I mean, can get in the way of smooth release of Samuel Ekpa to our country. Okay, Brian.
Yeah. That's right, because I guess we just have we had a little bit of glitch there, but we could hear everything you said, and we just it remains to be seen what the matter will be at the end. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses as always, and thanks to you to our audience for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG, also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.